Good morning, folks, from a nice, cloudy, cold, and rainy Vancouver. It's like they say, what do they call it? January, because it's almost as cold in June as in January. But anyway, today I want to talk about banking, just specifically because we had to go to the bank yesterday to sort out a few things. And you know what? I mean, the Canadian banks are great. It's awesome. There's a couple of cool things about it, but they're not as advanced as the South African banks. And I know some people are going to shout at me for this, but the reality is it's true. So first, the good side about it. One of the cool things about banking in Canada is that you don't have bulletproof proof glass and everything. You actually sit down with the guy and he helps you. I mean, it's actually quite weird. It's almost like not a teller when we go to our BMO bank up here in Caulfield. It's just this like you go and sit at the guy's desk. Okay, well, these days they have that. I still saw some remnants from the COVID era. So you have those little plastic shields in front of them. But the funny thing is, we're sitting at his desk and everybody's working around this plastic shield because it's just in the way. But any which way, so that's quite cool. It's like you deal much more personal with people in the bank. It's not like some giant, thick, bulletproof glass that's between you and the other side. The other thing is they've got that Interac, which is the main way of transferring money between people here in Canada, from what I see. Smaller amounts of money. So it's really cool. I mean, you just like put somebody's phone number or his email address in, and you can send him money straight away. He gets it, and he can deposit it into any bank account. I think it's almost like in South Africa. What is that? I can't remember what it was called, but F&B started it, where you can send somebody cash and then they can go withdraw it at the teller. Obviously, here it's not the teller. You just deposit it into your bank account, and you can actually set it up so that it auto deposits, and it's pretty much instantaneous. If I send somebody money via Interac, they get it and it goes into their bank account straight away, if they set it up like that. Otherwise, they just get a notification and they can choose whether they want to set in which bank they want to deposit it and in which account they want to deposit it. So the Interac system is actually really, really cool. The problem with the Interac system that I find as business and even in personal life is that you've got limits, and it's not limits per bank or per customer. There's kind of a blanket limit throughout the whole thing. You cannot do more than $3,000 of Interac transactions in one day, and that is it. End of the story. I think the monthly limits and they've also got a weekly limit and then a monthly limit. So in a 30-day rolling period, you can't do more than $30,000 worth of Interac transactions. And that's from my experience. I mean, I went to the bank and asked them, what the hell? Because the thing is, I have to pay $4,000 a month rent. So now I have to literally do two Interac payments. I need to do two payments of $2,000 because I cannot do $4,000 Interac in one day. So I actually went to the bank and I asked them, hey, dudes, isn't there a better way? And the guy was like, yeah, there is. You give us 12 post-dated checks and we will send it to our head office and they will deposit it into the landlord's account. I'm like, well, then I might as well give the 12 post-dated checks to the landlord, really? So currently there doesn't seem to be a system to just load somebody's details on the bank and pay him. Now, I know some of the banks like RBC, you can pay another RBC customer into his account. But yeah, that's still a little bit fragmented. Compared to South Africa, it's awesome. You send me your bank account number and your branch code and your bank detail, your company name or your name, and I load it onto my account no matter which bank I'm at. I add you as a beneficiary and I pay you. It's as easy as that. Now, they also have the beneficiaries and the payments over here, but it's maybe I'm just wrong, and I would love it if somebody could help me out here on the comments and tell me more of how it works. But I can't on BMO load a company that I want to pay. I literally need to send them a check because I cannot figure out. I can go there and I can say search, but it looks like you can only load companies that's been preloaded, if that makes sense. You have to search for a company, and if it doesn't appear on the system, then you can't pay them. And then, of course, there's the other thing is you can search for a company, it appears on the system, but you still need to know the bank account number because you need to fill the bank account number in any case. So there's still a little bit of a murkiness there. I'm not exactly sure how it works. But like I said, apparently from what I could see is at RBC, if you're at RBC and somebody else is at RBC, you can load their bank account and you can make EFT payments. I'm going to need to study a little bit more, but I mean, that's a little bit of a pain in the ass. I mean, I went to BMO yesterday to the bank, specifically asked the guy, how can I pay my landlord $4,000 a month rent without giving him checks? And his advice was, do 2 separate Interact transfers over 2 days, or give us 12 post-dated checks and we will pay your landlord with the 12 post-dated checks. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, so if any of you know better ways, please let me know. For the rest, there's a bunch of other little systems. I mean, there's obviously a bunch of other services that pop up like Veeam and Wise, TransferWise, that you can connect to your account and transfer monies and do stuff like that. So there are, it seems to be a lot of third-party services that you can use to make these payments. But yeah, the banks themselves directly not that much. Of course, the other thing about it is with the Interact system, if you're new to the country and you get your debit card and your credit card, or your debit card, definitely, your bank debit card, definitely make sure you ask for a Visa-enabled card. Otherwise, they just give you an Interact debit card. And yes, you can go to the stores and pay with it, but you can't do any online purchases with it because it's not a Visa or a MasterCard. It's just an Interact card. So it doesn't have a little CVC secret code at the back, and it doesn't have a date on it, so you can't use it online. We learned that the hard way. We had to get new cards that's Visa enabled. Another thing is, and I would guess that's more for us because we're on a work permit. So we came into the country and we applied for credit cards because we want to start building up a credit record. And the only way we could get a credit card was it's what do they call a secured card. So in other words, you have to open a savings account, put the amount of money that you want to use on the card into the savings account, and then they put a hold on it. So you can't take it out. You can't use that money. You can't do anything with it. It just sits there while you have your credit card. That secures your credit card. And we basically, they told us initially when we did that, they said, okay, well, you're going to do that for a year. But I think it's also just more if you're on a work permit, because, you know, you got to think about it this way. If you're on a work permit, it's you know, you might leave again. And I mean, we all know that oftentimes when people leave, they just leave their debt behind. So look what happened in Dubai all those years ago. So that's definitely, you know, understandable. So in any case, we opened up the account, we put it in, they said you're going to have to run it for a year at least, and then we will review. So we actually, when we were at the bank yesterday, we asked them, can we review this? They went through it, well, not yet, yeah, they went through it, and the guy phoned us back later and said, yeah, sorry, we cannot release the hold yet because you're still on a work permit. As soon as you become PR, we can release the hold, but on a work permit, we have an issue. I hardly see that as standard rule. I think they were just like, well, we don't know about you guys yet, so I don't know. What else is there to say about the banking system in Canada? I don't know that much. I mean, we work with RBC and BMO, and it's the two of them. And, you know, I mean, the people are super friendly and they're super helpful. One of the things we did was we opened bank accounts for our kids, obviously, and Belinda manages that. So it's kind of a joint account because they're still underage, but it's the kids' account, but mom has access to it as well. And then suddenly what happened was Angelique started like paying like $25 a month she started paying $25 a month bank fees. It started going off of her card, and we were like, hey, what's going on? I mean, the poor kid gets like $50 a month spending money, and suddenly they've got this giant bank fees. So we went into the bank to go and find out. And the bottom line, the thing is, she swipes her card for everything. I mean, she buys a lot of crap, but it's all like cheap stuff, $1, $2, $3. It's all small swipes, and she swipes a lot. Now, with her card, there's a limit of, I think, 15 free swipes or 20 free swipes a month. And if you swipe more than that, you start paying extra for the swipes. But once again, I mean, the bank was amazing, and this was RBC. So we walked in, we said, what's this about? They said, well, she's obviously swiping a lot, and now she's being charged extra. But hang on a second, we've got this other account where it's all free for until she's 27 or something. So they switched her over to that account and switched Connor over to that account, so they have zero bank fees going forward. And then what they did is they also reversed all the charges. I mean, the friendly lady there, she just reversed all the charges. I guess it's also got something to do with the fact that you're not like, you know, it's a person standing here in front of you. You're talking to somebody over a counter. You don't have this giant barrier between you. So that's what's really cool about the Canadian banks, I have to say. Anyway, guys, so that's my little thing about the Canadian banks. Altogether, the banks are absolutely great. The one thing that I would love for them to get right is the ability for somebody to send me their bank details so I can load it and I can make payments. Oh, there's one other little quirk that I found interesting. So we have a savings account where you get 0.05% interest. Yay! We have a savings account and we have our check account. And in the business, we've got an overdraft facility. And it's very weird how it works here. So, in South Africa, when you have an overdraft facility on your account, you just go down below where you are. And as you put money in, it goes back over. And that's how it works. And you can pay from any account. I mean, any account that you have available on your banking when you log in, you can pay from it, no problem at all. Here it doesn't work like that. I cannot make payments, direct payments. I can't send interacts from my savings account. I have to transfer the money to my checking account, and then I can pay from my checking account. My overdraft facility is a separate account, and I need to transfer money from the overdraft facility to the checking account, and then I can make a payment on the checking, from the checking account. And if money comes back in, I think they automatically somehow, they look at what's in your checking account, and if it's over $500 or whatever, I guess, then they just take a random chunk from there and they put it back into the overdraft facility. So still need to try and figure that out properly. But yeah, that's definitely something that's interesting. Oh, and of course, another one. Sorry, as I talk, I remember more. Another thing that's weird is that, in South Africa, I link my bank accounts and I've got one login. I log into my personal account. I can transact on my business. I can transact on my personal. I can do everything. Over here, it actually took us a bunch of effort to get our accounts linked, because my business account and my personal account, now I just want to transfer some money from the personal account to the business account because we needed to, balance things a little bit for a month end. And I couldn't do it. So eventually they linked my accounts, and if I log in, and it took a while, I mean, I had to, not a lot of people ask for it because I don't think a lot of people know that you can, but I don't know how people do it here. But anyway, so I had to go to the bank once again, BMO, and I'm like, hey, I want to link my accounts. And they go, well, yeah, we can link your accounts. And then I'm like, okay, thank you. They linked. I'm logged into my personal account. I just want to transfer money from my personal account to my business account, but I cannot do it, not on the online. Even though I see all the accounts, I can't transfer between them. And then they were like, okay, no, we need to link it in a different way. So they linked it in a different way, tried it, still didn't work. Eventually the guy had to phone helpline head office, and eventually he came back to me and he says like, okay, so when you log into your personal account, you can't transfer money from your personal account to you can't transact on your business account per se. You can't transfer money out and in of it. But if you logged into your business account, then you can transact on your personal account and your business account. So I can do the transfers right now if I log in through my business account. So it's little quirks that you got to get used to. All right, guys, you all must have a good one. Cheers.